We got to turn that fan off now.
It's finna get hot. You're now tuned in to San Quentin's Ear Hustle from PRX's Radiotopia.
The following podcast contains language that may not be appropriate for all listeners.
I'm Earlonne Woods.
And I'm Nigel Poor. We're breaking away from our format to bring you a special Q&A episode of Ear Hustle.
We're halfway through our first season, and we thought it'd be a good time to step back and thank everybody who's been tuning in and to answer some of these questions that we've been getting on our postcards.
It is really cool to go into the post office and walk over to the P.O. box and open it up and find beautiful postcards. And I just like tra-la-la in there. And when there's something in the P.O. box, I just like am smiling like an idiot. And when I'm walking out, I just want to say hello to everybody like, hey, look what we got. We got all these great kites. Right. And then I realize I'm not in San Quentin. If I say hello to strangers, they're going to look at me like I'm nuts.
No, they probably look at you like, oh, she's nice. She's,
We did get a lot of questions about the process of making Ear Hustle. But for this episode, we're going to concentrate on questions that have to do with life inside prison.
Right. For answers to all the questions about the process of making Ear Hustle, check out the new Frequently Asked Questions page on our website, earhustlesq.com.
One more thing I want to mention before we get into answering the questions is that we've gotten so many great comments about the music that we're using.
So a lot of people commented about Scoob Stack's song, Worth It.
Tell me, was it worth it? We gon' make it worth it. I don't know how, but we gon' make this shit start working. Think about these niggas I robbed, but I won't take it back because I didn't have a job, no.
And they want to hear it in its entirety, which is cool, We're all about just showing what goes on in prison, and sometimes that's what it is. You go to the yard, you hear different dudes. Guys over here might be playing a guitar, singing something. Guys over here might be banging on the tables, rapping.
Yeah, and there's been requests to post complete songs, and we'll try to do that. That may take us a while to figure out, but the thing that's important is we don't bring people down to the studio. We're recording them out in the yard.
Right.
So there's a lot of just kind of the natural ambient sound around it. And we don't always get there at the beginning of a song either. Jaspar, who works down here with us in the media lab, was just right out in front of the media lab playing guitar and singing.
Yeah, he pretty much do that on his lunch break.
It was beautiful. And of course...
You went out there, ran in here fast, grabbed the Tascam.
Actually, I didn't run. You can't run in prison. Yep. I walked fast.
She ran in here fast, grabbed the Tascam and the mic, and was gone.
And so let's just play a little bit of what he was up to before we get into the Q&A.
Yeah, Lee Jaspar. All right, Naj, let's dig into the questions.
All right, so the first question is from Lucy in New Jersey. And she writes, walking into a cafeteria as a new kid at school is awkward because you never know where to sit. It must be worse in prison. So what do you do on your first day? Where do you sit?
Well, to answer this question, it's simple. You have two rules, official and unofficial. Meaning official is you can sit wherever you want to sit, or there's a controlled feeding, meaning an officer is directing you to the next available seat. So it'll be in a row. You would just fill up this one table, then you fill up the next table, then so on and so on.
So in your first day in the cafeteria, was it the official or unofficial rule that you followed?
The place I was at, it was the unofficial.
Okay. Well...
You know what the unofficial consists of?
I know we're going to find out from these guys that we talked to.
When you first walk into the cafeteria, the first thing you do is you look for people that look exactly like you.
On my first day, I met an Asian homie. He showed me where to sit, and then that's where I sat at.
And you say, well, the blacks on this side, the whites on this side, the Hispanics on this side.
When I walked in the cafeteria for the first time, I could see the white guys on one side and everyone else on the other side. So I just kind of sat with them.
So once you get to the people that look like you, then you're trying to figure out, like, who's who. So it's kind of like in school, right? It's like all the popular kids sit on this side. But then once I get to the popular kids, the football players here, the basketball players here, the cheerleaders over here. So, I mean, normally someone will say, hey, man, this isn't the table where you sit. Who are you? Oh, I'm from such and such place where you need to sit over there. And that could become an altercation, right? So your own people are not going to let you sit somewhere where they think is going to be a problem, because if violence erupt, then those who associate with you are responsible for coming to your aid. You're the new guy, but you're a part of a family when you get here.
Some of us that are not as attuned to this lifestyle have to be told. Like when I came to prison, when I came to reception here in San Quentin, the CO said, "What are you?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, who do you run with?" And I said, "What is that?" And he said, like, "Are you in a gang or what?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm Mexican." And I had never thought about it until then at age 23, right? And I was like, well, I was born in America, but Mexican, like, ethnicity and culture-wise, that was more than he needed to know. He just wanted to know, like, what race and what gang, right? And I started to understand then.
Since we were just talking about the cafeteria, let's continue with the topic of food.
Which is a topic that many people ask about. And Nigel been wanting to do this episode on food for the longest. I can't wait for her to do the episode on food so I can taste. I mean, I get to be one of the, I'm had to be one of the judges.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and the funny thing is I won't be able to taste it. I will only be able to smell it.
People might want to know why you're saying that you can only smell the food, Nigel.
Okay, there's many rules in prison that have to be followed, and there is a very specific one about food. You cannot eat any food that I bring in, and I cannot eat any food that you guys have. So if we do a cooking episode, I can only smell what is prepared. I can never taste it.
So is that why your sandwiches never smell?
That's why I bring in the blandest food possible. I know you guys wonder why I eat the same thing every single time I come in here.
Every day.
I don't want to bring in anything that's going to look appealing.
Day. Look. I got that. I dig that. I never knew that. I just thought you just eat the same sandwich every day.
No, so you guys always know there's not going to be anything different. It's always going to be the same damn thing when I open up my lunch bag.
Indeed. All right. So y'all know why she can only smell it. But don't worry about it. I'll give y'all a play-by-play on what it tastes like. There's some guys in here that can burn.
What do you think of the food at San Quentin?
Good.
Usually the breakfast here are the same. Is eggs, some more eggs. Then they powdered eggs, too.
I think the food is worth shit.
Dinner, green salad with dressing, 3/4 of a cup.
I went into the chow hall one Saturday morning to eat pancakes, and a bird pooped on the table.
Spanish rice, 4 ounces.
The food at San Quentin.
Not so good.
Nasty. Chicken nachos, tortilla chips, 1 ounce.
We were getting vegetables for a time, and then they took those away. The story is that someone threw an entire onion at a CO, so now it's a danger.
Salsa, 2 ounces.
Is that true somebody threw an onion at a CO?
No, I think they was saying that an onion can be used as it's a 1 pound onion. Everybody got them. That's some bullshit, though. You know what I'm saying?
Chicken, 4 ounces.
Oh, it's delicious. No, I'm just kidding. It's terrible. It's tasteless and bland.
I would compare it like a few steps down from like an elementary school meal. Like
Shredded cheese, 1 ounce.
The food here is exceptional.
Oh, what do you like?
I would say the chicken breasts and mashed potatoes and gravy. They have stepped their game up a lot.
The state food is horrible.
Mexican beans, 6 ounces.
Excuse me, it's horrible.
Icy treat, 1 each.
Thank God for top ramen soups. They 25 cents each. Without that, I'm not sure how I would make it.
Beverage, 8 ounces.
You know who they fuck over here?
Who's that?
They fuck over the vegetarians.
Woo!
All they get is different kind of beans. Lentil beans, regular beans, black-eyed peas beans, red beans, white beans. But they bean their ass to death. I'm talking about like, you had to tap out. Like, I'm cool on this shit.
We're going to hear from some of the cooks here, and they're going to be like, don't bash us. We do the best we can.
They're going to be like, damn, that's so true.
Well, the reason we want to do a show about cooking is because there's some amazing cooks here.
Cooks outside the kitchen?
Yeah.
Great. That's why everybody eat outside the kitchen.
Yeah. So we have to make it clear we're talking about the cafeteria food. We're not talking about the food that guys actually cook in here. That's for another episode.
Right.
Do you ever eat in the cafeteria?
I do. Even if I don't want to eat, I still would go for the walk just to get out the building, get some fresh air. The cafeteria do give up ice cold water, so I'll go get the water. If I miss it, I'm not missing nothing, not unless they're serving watermelon. They serve it like once a year, so like we just had it for breakfast the other day, just blew my mind.
Watermelon is so good.
This is when the bartering system came in play because I bartered everything on my tray for watermelon.
How many pieces did you get?
Like 6.
So who didn't want their watermelon?
Some people wanted the banana because they gave a banana up with it. They gave up a cinnamon roll with it. They gave up some other stuff. So I was trading everything. And one of my partners gave me another cinnamon roll, so I had another cinnamon roll to trade.
I think you got the best deal. Was it cold?
Cold, ice cold. I didn't even eat them the dinner way where, you just pick it up and just start eating it.
Yeah.
I used my spoon and cut off chunks.
Oh, you slowed it down.
Yeah, I had a gang of chunks in the middle of my tray, and I had a field day.
Okay, E, what do you have to say to Dan from Canada? If you could change one thing about prison, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy. I would make prisons co-ed.
That is not what I expected to hear from you.
Nigel, I'm a guy. I'm a dude. I live around too many dudes. Shower with dudes. It's just too much of dudes, so it should be co-ed.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
If you could change anything about prison, what would it be?
The sentencing structures. Yeah, I'd probably change the sentencing structures. I would make it so men could get out once they have shown that they've made the necessary transformations to no longer be a threat and danger to society.
Yours was deeper than mine. I think mine probably was shallow.
What was yours?
I said I'd make prison co-ed.
I'll probably do that too.
You changed it?
I mean, there's a lot of things, right, that you could change. You know what I'm saying? Right off the back, when you think like co-ed, that's like top list. The reasons that normally we want to be around women, just because you've been in prison so long, and people instantly think sexual encounter, but I think it's a bigger dynamic to learn when you're just around women, just in general, of learning to be respectful, right? Learning to be, more soft, and just learning a bunch of different things that, right, you learn around women that you can't learn around men. So like when I go to visit, like with my mother or like my nieces or sister, I go out there and I kind of scared to hug them, kind of shake their hand, kind of weird, right? Because I'm around these dudes all day.
Right.
And so if I was around women more, then they would kind of teach me these different type of life skills, and just way to be around women that's a little bit more casual and more respectful. So in that regard, I think it'd be pretty cool outside of just the obvious that.
I would change the cell situation. You seem to do your time more easily when you're in the cell by yourself. Oh man, I had some crazy cellies, man. Glad we didn't fight, I've always been really small, so I'm like, how am I gonna beat this guy?
Yeah, so what's your strategy?
Strategy is humility, man. Humility and communication and respect. Always works. It's worked for me these past 12 years. I haven't gotten one fight.
Wow, that's great.
It's survival. How am I going to survive in here? This loner kid. And I started there. Navigated my way around people that I knew were dangerous, Went to places where I knew I were safe, education, a library. And I ran a lot, so I was out of everybody's way when I ran. So that's how I made it this far.
If you can change something about prisons, Officer Reyes, what would it be?
Take the race card out, treat everybody fairly, ask a lot of questions, just try to act honestly and fairly.
It's pretty segregated on an unofficial level.
Yeah, out there or in here, it's the same thing. Just because, certain people are wearing blue and some are in green, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to discriminate in that way. We're all human beings, so you ask a question, I try to answer it. I ask you a question, you answer it. And, get together that way.
This person says, please keep my information anonymous if you share it. I have a cousin who's serving time for murder, and I miss him despite the heinous crime he committed. He's still family, and I don't want to lose touch with him for the bad decision that he made. Long story short, I'd like to write to him, but I'm not sure what to say. I feel like anything I could tell him about things I've been up to would seem unimportant and stupid by comparison to the heavy events that he's dealing with. I don't want to annoy him and talk to him about my dogs or new restaurants I've tried. Should I even bother to write to him? What do you think?
You can write your family member or your friend or whoever, and you can talk about the birds chirping outside your window, and that would be sufficient enough for guys in prison. When you come back to your cell and the officer come by and call your name for that letter, you like, shit, cool, who wrote? First in your mind, who wrote me? You know, then you get it, and you might even have a ritual. You get the letter, you don't even open it. You go make you a shot of coffee, sit down, and really absorb the words. You know, we just want to hear from you.
So I don't think we can say strongly enough how important it is to write letters.
Letters are very important. If you're curious or if you're concerned about writing somebody and how they feel, they gonna love it.
So hopefully that cousin is about to get a letter.
Mm-hmm. And to all the people I haven't heard from. Let me find the next question.
Yep.
Okay. When a cellie leave, do they keep in touch? This question is from Adam, and he's in the UK.
So we did a whole episode on cellies, and your cellie left.
Correct.
So can you answer that question?
Well, I can say this. I hear that he's doing okay. I think when a person get out, they have to focus on getting their lives together, you know. So even my conversation to him when he left was, hey, man, check in a year. You know what I'm saying? Give me an update in a year.
Since we're speaking about cellies, this would be a great time for a Earlonne Woods cellie update.
So,
what happened?
So Cleo left, and I know I said that they gave me a cellie within hours, which was true. He was about 22 years old. He was born in 1995, but he was a cool youngster. See, you can get some that's just level-headed. I'm talking about he was cool, didn't bring traffic to the cell, didn't hang out, wasn't into it with the officers. He was just on about his business, but he got a dirty test. I think he had weed in his system. And so that dirty test, they kicked him out and sent him to a higher level security.
So you were solo again?
No, actually, they have this other prison called Tracy. And Tracy was changing its levels from a level 2, which is a lower level, to a level 3, which is a higher level. So they was making all the level 2s leave. So my brother put in for San Quentin knowing that I'm here. So the same day that my young cellie left, my brother came that night.
That's insane.
Yeah, he left that morning. My brother was here that night. When they moved him to the building, they moved him in a cell because my cell was open. Ain't that something?
That is something. How the hell does something like that happen?
Well, I mean, it's the luck of the draw, you know. It's, you know what? For my mother, it's great. She don't have to travel all over California to see her babies.
Is it great for Earlonne?
Well, you know, it's like this. So,
is there an Eddie and Emile story here?
No, I wouldn't say Eddie and Emile, but I'll say it's interesting, and this is why it's interesting. The last time I hugged my brother was in 1988, and the first time I hugged him again was 2017.
Wow.
So I've been in prison for a long time. It's our first time meeting each other technically as adults. It was funny because when I seen the new guys coming in, it was like I knew they was coming, but one guy walked by with his stuff, which is a blanket, a pillowcase. So I'm like, oh, they came. So I go back around to my cell to see if bro got here, right? And when I'm turning the corner, walking down the aisle, he's coming and he passed me.
Oh, wow.
He don't even acknowledge me because we haven't seen each other.
You didn't recognize each other?
I got the big beard now, you know.
Oh, my God.
So when he walked past me, I did what you're not supposed to do. I grabbed him and shook him up, you know, like real quick, like just roughed him up. And he just looked and he he noticed it was me and he hugged me and he gave me a kiss on the cheek.
Oh.
And like, what's up, man? He was like, what's up, man? Woo, 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 all that soul stuff. So you know, you have an older brother. He's older than me, 4 years older than me. In his mind, he has that I'm the big brother, you the little brother hierarchy. And I had to quickly tell him, bro, we grown. That shit played out. You know, we did that shit when we was 9 and 14, whatever. We're adults. We're, you know, you're my brother, but there will not be no hierarchy.
Is there going to be a potential story in here?
No. Okay. I know you want a story here, so I got one for you. In the Selly's episode, before you answer it, I want people out there to answer. I want the listeners to answer this. What was the one thing I said I hated? All right, you can answer.
Talking. I hate that shit.
And my brother can talk, like, too much. Like, he asks every question about everything, and I be like, bro, I just need some time, bro. Just you know, you know, real talk.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's good to talk. We talked, you know, did we talk the whole first night? We tried to talk tonight, you know, just to, you know, catch up.
Yeah.
But outside of that, talk too much.
I know I said we weren't going to answer any questions about the process of making this podcast, but we had the rare opportunity to get the public information officer, Lieutenant Sam Robinson, down here, and E got right on that. So after the break, we're going to hear some of that conversation.
All right, how you doing there, Lieutenant Robinson?
I'm doing well, Earlonne. How are you doing?
I'm great. So we have this Q&A session, and we have listeners that asked a question about censorship.
Okay.
Because at the end, you come in and you say you approve this. So from a public information officer standpoint, when you say you approve this story, what do you mean?
When I say that I'm approving the story, it isn't about censoring. I think in our conversations and our engagement on this project, I think you are maybe to the listener may be more credible than I am in that it's not about censorship, it's a collaboration. It's making sure from the public safety side that there are things that don't exit this prison that would harm people here within our facility, other facilities in the state of California, or even people outside the walls. And so what we're looking at from my office is no one is going to be adversely affected by it. In terms of what your story is, in terms of the interactions and the engagement, the artwork and the podcast, that's all you.
Okay, so for the people that think that we only can say so much, long as it is not violating the public safety, we good.
Well, tell me this. Has there been anything that you've wanted to say that I have rebuffed you on?
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. That's all the Q&A we have for you right now. And I know we left a lot of questions unanswered.
We'll definitely do this again, so please keep the cards coming. And just a reminder, if you prefer to keep your card private, that's not a problem at all. We absolutely respect that. Just write private on the card and we won't post it and we won't talk about it on air.
Thanks to all you listeners. And big thanks for taking the time out to send us your questions and comments. We truly appreciate that. Our sound designer is Antoine Williams. Pat Mesiti-Miller is our outside production advisor. Curtis Fox is the story editor, and executive producer for Radiotopia is Julie Shapiro. We also want to thank Warden Ron Davis, and as you know, every episode has to be approved by this guy here.
This is Lieutenant Sam Robinson, and I approve this message.
No, that was political.
Oh, damn.
Story.
All right, that's right.
Prove your story.
That's right. I got to be coached. This is Lieutenant Sam Robinson, and I approve this Q&A episode.
Next time on Ear Hustle.
That is, if we get it done on time.
Yeah, that's right, because Lieutenant Robinson's going on vacation, and we are pulling our hair out trying to get this done before he leaves, because it is a great story.
And he might have a problem with this one, though. It's going to be about married inmates who, in spite of being in prison, they find a way to get with their wives.
First hour and the last hour of all the visits, the patio was couples only. Wasn't no babies allowed outside. Grandma wasn't able to come out, and if grandma did come out, she had to watch out because we was out there doing adult things.
Okay, just to be clear, what he just described there did not happen at San Quentin.
Yeah, we'll see what Lieutenant Robinson thinks about it. But if there's not a podcast in 2 weeks, that probably mean we just didn't get it done. It don't mean that he said no. He just went on vacation, and that's life in prison. Your schedule is not your own.
If we don't get it done, and if you're still hungry for stories about people in prison and how their families cope, we have a suggestion.
Check out Death, Sex, and Money, a podcast from WNYC Studios.
Recently, they shared a story about Lawrence Bartley, an inmate at Sing Sing Correctional Facility in New York. He's been locked up since 1990 for a murder he committed when he was 17. While in prison, he got married and had 2 kids with his wife. And this month is his first chance at parole.
The host of the podcast, Anna Sale, talked with Lawrence inside Sing Sing and his wife at home. Hear their story at deathsexmoney.org. Ear Hustle is a proud member of Radiotopia from PRX, a collection of the best podcasts around. Radiotopia is made possible with support from the Knight Foundation. Hear more at radiotopia.fm.
Keep those postcards and emails coming. You can find out where to send them on our website, earhustlesq.com, where you can also sign up for our newsletter. We've added a new gallery page to the website where you can see portraits of the people in our stories, see some of the beautiful postcards we've been getting, and check out our newest visual request. We're asking listeners to send photographs of what they do when they listen.
And find us on Instagram and Twitter at earhustlesq. And if you have time, go to iTunes and please write a review. We're going to go out with Nigel's new favorite song. Here's Lee Jasper and Darn That Dream. I'm Earlonne Woods.
And I'm Nigel Poor. Thanks for listening.
Darn that dream, I dream each night.
I have a brief update about our next episode. After we recorded this episode, San Quentin went on lockdown. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, it means that there's very restricted movement inside of the prison. Earlonne and Antoine can't come down to the media lab, and I can't come into the prison. So unfortunately, our production has come to a halt. We do hope to be up and running again soon, but our next episode is going to have to be delayed a week. So instead of coming out on August 23rd, it'll be out on August 30th. As Earlonne always says, inside a prison, you never control your own schedule. But please stay tuned and know we'll be back as soon as we can.
Paradise. Whoa, darn that dream. Darn this one track, mind of mine. Can't understand that you just don't care. But just to change this mood I'm in, I'd welcome a night so nightmare.
Radiotopia.